It was the 4th of July, 2012, and I was 17. Too old for sparklers, too young to drink, and just young enough to feel left out of everything. My parents were out of town for the weekend, and my best friend Ryan invited me to a party at his cousin's lake house about an hour outside the city. Ryan swore it was going to be insane. Tons of people, a private dock, fireworks over the water. I figured, why not? Maybe it'd be better than sitting at home watching the neighbors shoot off Roman candles. We drove out just as the sun was starting to go down. The further we got, the fewer streetlights there were. Eventually, it was just a narrow two-lane road winding through the woods, lined with dark silhouettes of trees and the occasional mailbox. Ryan kept saying we were close, but there was no cell service out there, and the GPS stopped working about 15 minutes back. Finally, he spotted a small cardboard sign tacked to a post, "Party by the Lake," written in thick black marker with an arrow. We followed a gravel road for another half-mile and came out to a clearing. It was already packed. Cars lined the grass and dirt all the way down to the water. You could see the glow of tiki torches flickering on the dock and hear music and shouting coming from the house. There were probably 50 or 60 people already there. We parked on the grass and walked down. I immediately felt out of place. Everyone seemed older, college kids, already drunk, laughing and smoking by the fire pit. Ryan disappeared almost immediately into the crowd, shouting something about getting a drink. I wandered down by the dock, where a smaller group was setting up fireworks. The lake stretched out in front of me, pitch black except for the shimmer of moonlight on the water. Boats floated off in the distance, their lights barely visible. That's when I noticed someone standing out at the very end of the dock. Alone. He was tall, wearing a hoodie with the hood up, which struck me as weird because it was warm out. He just stood there, perfectly still, facing the lake. For a second, I thought maybe he was on his phone, but he didn't move. I walked back toward the fire pit, trying not to overthink it. By now, the party was in full swing. People were lighting bottle rockets and Roman candles, laughing and chasing each other. Ryan was nowhere to be seen, and I was starting to feel pretty awkward just standing there. Then someone grabbed my arm. I turned around, expecting Ryan, but it wasn't him. It was a guy I didn't recognize, maybe in his mid-20s with a scruffy beard and wide, glassy eyes. "You don't belong here," he said flatly. I laughed awkwardly, thinking he was just drunk. But he didn't laugh, he just squeezed my arm tighter. "You shouldn't have come here," he said again, staring at me with this strange intensity. Before I could respond, one of his friends yelled something from the fire pit, and he let go, mumbling, "Forget it," as he stumbled off. I stood there, frozen for a second, my heart pounding. That's when I noticed the guy on the dock again. He was still there, still motionless. But this time, he was turned toward me. I couldn't see his face, just the faint outline of his hood and his hands hanging at his sides. I tried to shake it off and went inside the house. The music was loud, people were dancing and playing beer pong. I ducked into the bathroom to splash some water on my face and try to calm down. When I came back out, Ryan finally found me, grinning ear to ear, clearly drunk. "Dude," he slurred, "you having fun?" I forced a smile and nodded, deciding not to tell him about the guy on the dock or the weirdo by the fire pit. We went back outside just as the first big fireworks were being set off over the lake. Everyone cheered as the sky lit up in reds and golds. For the first time that night, I almost felt like I belonged. Then something caught my eye. Out of the corner of my vision, down by the water, the guy on the dock was gone. But someone was now standing halfway up the lawn, closer to the house. Same hood, same stillness, just standing there. I turned to point him out to Ryan, but when I looked back, he was gone again. I slipped away from the party, heading back down toward the dock. Maybe I just needed to see for myself that there was nothing there, but as I got closer to the water, I noticed something strange. Wet footprints, leading up from the dock, into the grass, toward the house. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. That's when I heard it, a whisper, right behind me. "You shouldn't have come here." I spun around, but no one was there. The dock was empty. The party behind me was still loud, people cheering and laughing, completely oblivious. I turned back toward the house, and that's when I saw him, standing at the edge of the woods, just barely illuminated by the glow of the fireworks. This time, I could see his face. It was pale, hollow, sunken eyes staring straight at me. He raised one finger to his lips. Then, he was gone. I ran back up the lawn, nearly tripping over my own feet. Ryan was too drunk to notice how shaken I was. We left about an hour later. I didn't say a word the whole ride home. That night, as I lay in bed trying to sleep, I could still see his face in my mind. And just as I started to drift off, I heard it again. A whisper. "You shouldn't have come here."